This is the NA Happy Hour.
What's good with it, dude?
Hey, Tyler, how's it going? All right.
Doing well, thanks.
Good. Early morning.
Yeah, I decided to stay up a little late last night working on some stuff, and for once I slept in past. We usually wake up like 5 something, but woke up at like 9 today, so it's funky.
Oh, isn't that a lion then?
Didn't you say yesterday you weren't gonna do work when you got home?
Yeah, and then I got home.
I could have made money on that one.
Got to set yourself limits, right?
Yeah.
Limits to when to stop yourself. It's a big learn for me recently. Big learn.
I learned that the hard way.
I think I could take some takeaways from that.
Well, I learned it the hard way. You could learn from other people telling you, but you got to work it out for yourself, I think. But yeah, I learned the hard way for.
Some of that stuff is definitely you gotta learn for yourself. I learned in college.
Sorry, man.
Yeah, I got so overwhelmed and stressed out in college. I was actually having like chest pains. So they were like, you should go get an EKG to make sure you're not having a heart attack right now. I'm like, that doesn't sound good. So that's how I learned to relax and budget and rework my priorities. So I don't have a heart attack at the age of 24.
Yeah, you want to try and avoid that.
I've heard some leading medical experts also concur with that.
Yeah, stress is such a forgotten issue, especially for guys. Guys suffer with heart problems. I don't know what the stats are, but so much more than females, and to compound that issue with so worse at sharing our.
I was gonna exactly, and then on top of that, you have the like image of like tough masculinity where it's like you can't say, hey, I need to stop because I'm stressed and not feeling well. It's like, well, you're just being a lazy sack of crap. So
yeah, right, that's what we tell ourselves.
Yeah, too
much.
Yep.
To generalize. Yeah,
this is gonna be a great mental health episode. I can already see it.
I mean, it's a really important topic. So yeah, it could be. I know I've had to take big steps recently with work, in particular, to cut down.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what you triggered me there, Tyler. Right? That's why I said what I said, because it's so. What I've learned is stick to your own rules that you set yourself, but also listen to your colleagues and actually, in my case, my boss.
Mm-hmm.
And company doctors have been involved. You know, you got to shut that laptop.
Yeah.
And I'm on the back end of this. I've actually reduced my work hours because I was working 60 hours for months, and it's too much. I got a heart condition. You know.
Wow.
I had major heart surgery two years ago. Yeah. So I reduced my hours. And now I'm going to ramp up again at the just after Easter. The biggest learn that I've taken from this is that because of the reduction of hours, I'm told, and I've told myself, the laptop gets shut down. Marco comes in and says, when are you logging off? What? It's 2:00, you know, shut down. And I need to take that forward to when it's 5:30 or 6, you know,
mm-hmm.
and shut down then, not just stay online till 8 because I've still got work to do. That work's there though the next day.
Yeah. What do you do for work again?
I'm a business process manager. So we roll out Oracle, the ERP and HCM platform. So I'm basically responsible for rolling out the HCM part to our global business. We got 28,000 people. 39 countries, and a big implementation program. So it's a bit of change management, a bit of system management, basically going into all these country HR teams, telling them they got to do things differently and they got to use this different system. And they go, no, we've done it like this for 10 years. We don't want to do that way. And everyone loves us.
I see the value in what you do. As a technician, I see the value in what you do and know that you are appreciated.
Yeah, we're hated, man.
We are. Well,
we will be appreciated. We're capital expenditure, right? We're capital investment.
Yeah, I fight it with users all the time, saying like, well, this program won't do that. Well, this is how you're supposed to use the program, but that's not how I've done it before. And you're running into an issue. Yeah, but I want to do it this way. That's not how the program works. But I was doing it this way, and you were having a problem. Like, how many times are we going to go around the bush before you acknowledge that what you're doing?
You can't put a floppy disk in a CD-ROM drive, right?
Yeah.
They'll do it right.
Yeah.
Do you know what a floppy disk is, Tyler, or any of you?
Yes.
do.
Yes, I do.
I'll just agree. Nod and agree. I mean, it's something techie, is it? Something.
From like 1998 to
No, it was
like 4-inch floppy disk things. I don't know why I'm using the word to describe the word. Oh, here it is.
I don't want to offend anyway, but I know that you guys are all younger than me. There you go.
Oh.
You would put the disc. Mine's now a pen holder.
Love it, mate.
Held together with a Cat 6 cable that I stripped and ripped apart.
Yeah.
So you would put it in, and what would happen is the reader would open this, and this is actually a disc, a film disc that spins around here that the data is burned onto. And then it would clamp it shut when you're finished. And it had, what, kilobytes of data on it? Like...
64? 128 maybe?
Kilobytes.
Yeah. I got all.
Yeah.
This damn, this is such a moment where explaining to Ian what a floppy disk is. It's brilliant, man.
This is what it's all about, you know.
We're recording by the way, so this is the snippet for this week.
This is, it's proof that this show is multi-generational.
Yeah.
And it's not a patronizing moment in any which way.
No, it's actually not. No.
It's literally just ages, isn't it? Like, yeah, CD-ROM will be a thing of the past.
So, are you listening on a Walkman? Is that right?
I had a Walkman.
Yep.
I had an MP3 player. I had the little go-between as well.
What was it? The new
mini disc. Sorry, mini disc.
The Zune. Was it a Zune? Was that the other one before the iPad or iPod?
Oh, I don't know. I went from mini disc to, and mini discs lasted what? I don't know, 2 years maybe.
And then there were ones where it was essentially like a CF card that had like 2 songs on it. So you would buy an album with them, plop in the CF card, play the song, take that out, and put in the other one.
Oh man, it was like a Mega Drive cartridge or something.
Yeah,
a third of the size.
Was that called a Zune? What that I'm thinking of?
I don't know.
On your Walkman, Matt, what was your go-to album?
My go-to album on my Walkman. Yeah, but this was so Ian. Walkmans were back in the day when you would make your own tapes. So these were tapes even before CDs. What I had. So I would sit and you'd have to listen to the song in order for the thing to record, right? Unless you had a flashy recorder where you could turn the volume down and it would still record whilst it was going. But one of mine did and one of mine didn't. So you had to make sure that you wanted to listen, or the people left in the room wanted to listen to it while you were recording.
Yeah, there's the Zune.
Oh man, I never had that.
That came out. That started that revolution where that did get you up to like 128 gigs. And then like a year later, the first iPod came out and the Zune was dead. Steve Jobs announced the iPod and the Zune was dead. Just straight up gone.
Did he announce that? Was he that cocky in the announcement? Or
He announced that it was dead.
Well,
it wasn't even his.
no. He didn't actually announce it, but it was just
we
like
have murdered you.
the iPod came out, the sales happened, and everything else was gone.
That would be amazing though if he said that. He's like, yeah, we just murdered you.
Yeah.
You'll find out in a week or two.
Well,
I think you're all right for now, but
can I ask? I don't know if the lads asked you about when did you move to Amsterdam?
when I moved to Amsterdam, it was September 17. So I moved because of work, right? So I work for my organisation now for 8 years in May, and so I spent 5 years in the London office, and then this opportunity came up, and we're a Dutch organisation, so I got the opportunity to move to into a global role, and I'd be working on a sort of regional implementation role before, and thought, yeah, I've lived in London for a good 5 or so years, all my life with a gap for university, 4 years up in Stoke, which was great. But I kind of done London by that stage and thought, hey, what's got to be bad about Amsterdam? Nothing. So yeah, took the opportunity really and just moved over. And never looked back really. So got my residency now and trying to learn the language. It's not so easy.
Right, maybe keyword.
Oh yeah, I wish I'd learned a language when I was younger. Right, that's the advice that I give to anyone who's just a hell of a lot younger than me. Just learn a language, any language, because it opens up things in your brain, right?
Yeah, you have a better aptitude of learning a foreign language at a younger age. Yeah.
I have no aptitude, so.
I mean, I barely had any aptitude to learn English when I was younger, so
Yeah.
I still struggle with that.
I mean, I'm from North London, so I'm not Cockney London, right? So I can still, I still like to think I've got a good grasp of the English language, just about.
I'm going to have you throw a specific area under the bus. Which area of London or the UK has the, to put it in your words, lowest grasp of the English language?
How many people listen to this? No.
Not many.
The lowest grasp of the English language. Liverpool's probably up there. Scotland's not in England, but that's probably well accepted, Ian, right? I'm trying to bring you down with me here, right? I don't know. I don't dislike many accents across UK, to be honest. A lot of people really find certain accents really grating, but I'd probably say for me, probably Liverpool, probably the Scouse accent. Okay. Yeah, it's least understandable. I quite like a Geordie accent. A lot of people don't like that, but I quite like it.
Yeah, I think the Scouse accent is nice.
I think it's a ridiculous. It's a bit ridiculous that there are so many accents in such a small landmass. You know, yeah.
Like when you think of a typical Scouse accent, who would you think of, like John Bishop or Steve Gerrard?
Yeah, John Bishop is literally it. But his is softened because he's on TV and people need to understand him.
And then you have the actual language of Welsh is just seeing that written out where you have 3 L's in a row, but it's pronounced like a C.
Yeah,
it's just
it's a I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a sort of a cat hissing.
Yeah.
I think that's the desired noise. But that's a bit of a bizarre one as well, actually. But learning Dutch is interesting. I'm quite good at accents, so I can when I do speak or kind of read sentences or get a grasp, I've got some standard phrases, and it sounds all right. It sounds correct, and I can do the accent well. But problem is with that is you start talking it to a Dutch person, or you ask for something in a shop, they respond in Dutch, and then I'm like, huh? Then they switch to English.
Yeah, it's amazing. Everyone speaks English in Amsterdam, right? I actually have a bottle opener here from the Heineken experience. Adam.
That's awesome.
I actually went with a few friends. It's quite good fun.
It's class, isn't it? One thing I found out Amsterdam, haven't been there twice, is I think you got the raw deal. Like, to the average person, you just think it's this down of an equity where it's just red light districts and coffee shops, and that's really it. There's so much more to it, isn't there? I mean, that whole district.
And weed.
I was gonna say, yeah, weed. Don't forget the weed.
Well, that's the coffee shops. That's just.
Uh,
But I just found like that. What's the district called? The Wallen, is that? Or basically the red light district?
Yeah, it's right in the centre, ironically next to the old church.
Yeah,
and
Old Kirk, yeah.
the Ouderkerk, and it's actually a really beautiful part of the city, right? So it's right in the dead centre, but it's also, Amsterdammers and people who live here, they don't go there. They don't venture into that area at all. There's one reason that I go there, and there's a incredible chocolate shop actually in the church.
Tony's, is it?
No, it's not. It's everything's like handmade chocolates and truffles and really cool stuff. So I go there too often, and but it's also really good to get gifts for Christmas and stuff like that. So we spend a bit too much money there, but I think everyone probably has like the one or two reason to go into the centre. But apart from that, we just don't venture there, and the rest of it is just tourists. And
when we were there,
of course, it's all dead right now. It's just there's nothing open there at all. So interesting to see how they change that part of town when things open up again. Because I know that the city, as it were, the municipality, have been trying to phase out some of these, negative ideas of what people have of the city for quite some time. So.
Well, because when we were there, for example, the first time we were there, it was definitely just groups of stags and stuff like that. We were there for one night, so we done all the kind of, we threw ourselves into that end of Amsterdam, but then we came back a few months later to see a concert in the Ziggo. We seen Post Malone in the Ziggo, and we done kind of all the touristy stuff. That's fine. But definitely, there's so much more to it than just that. It's beautiful.
Oh, definitely. And we've got a beach 20 minutes away.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, kind of. What? Yeah. It's really good. Like in the summertime, and it's actually where it's full of Germans during the summer. So the Germans will come across. They'll get the train. You can get a train from Berlin to Amsterdam in 6 hours. Majority will just drive, and from 20 minutes from Amsterdam, go over to the coast, which is basically the North Sea, right? And during the summertime, when it's hitting good temperatures, it's a really sandy beach and a huge one at that. So, it's pretty beautiful, to be honest. It's where they filmed, that huge stretch of land is where they filmed Dunkirk as well, but a bit further up north.
That's a great movie.
Yeah, really, really brilliant, yeah. There's your fact of the day from me.
The first time I was ever in a Tesla was in Amsterdam. It's the only time we were going to get the metro into the city, into Central Station, but we were like, lads, we'll have to get those for us. We'll pay, I think it was €15 each, like 60 quid between us to get Tesla into the city, just say we were in Tesla. And the guy was driving, he was like, once you get out onto the kind of grounds of the airport, he says, okay, my job is done, and takes his hands off the wheel. And he's like talking to us, and he says,
really?
Yeah, and he's like, oh God. And I always remember when we get out of the car, it was October, and he says, watch out for the cyclists and don't fall into the canal. The water's very cold this time of year.
It's true, right? So in the Netherlands, you got many things to be wary of, right? You've got bike lane, car, tram and bus. Tram and bus again on the other side, car, then bike lane. So you got six potential hazards, 3 from each side that you need to be wary of when crossing a road. My mum has a nightmare every time she comes here because she just immediately forgets.
I'm gonna need I need a seeing eye person to help me cross the street and answer.
It's
Sir, can you help me cross? Are you blind or something? No, I'm just an idiot.
They should dole out like Amsterdammers at the airport, right? To like groups of
your partner. It could be like a high school community service project. You help a tourist cross the road like a Boy Scout thing.
Everyone gets a buddy.
Every 20 minutes. All right, buddy check. Everybody stand next to your buddy.
Can I ask you, have you ever tried herring? We were going to do the herring challenge, isn't it? Where it's like basically...
You see, now asking that question with your accent can get misconstrued for asking if I've tried something else.
Right.
A little more stronger.
So what's the answer to both?
Yeah. It's gorgeous. I love it. I love it's good. Bit of raw onion as well, pickled onion.
Isn't that really strong though? We were told there's this challenge you can do, and apparently it's basically like you see who doesn't get sick from.
I don't think it shouldn't make you sick, right? It's it's good to eat. It's just pickled fish basically. Yeah, it's good stuff. I like it.
So can you guys explain the background of and the significance of the herring challenge?
Well, it was pitched to us by a fella I think he was in the hostel we were staying in, and he was saying, "Oh, you can go up to the city and do this herring challenge." Where it's basically like he described it as like almost fermented fish in a can, and you have to just try to see out of a group of mates who can eat the most. But maybe he sold it badly.
The fact that I don't know what it is does not mean it doesn't exist.
Right.
So it could very well be a thing, and I'm likely going to search it and do a bit of research after this.
So tomorrow's happy hour, you're going to have a bunch of pickled herrings and like a virgin Bloody Mary and just start eating them. And the three of us are going to be dying of laughter and no one else is going to know what the hell's going on.
Yeah, midweek it was nitro stouts, and tomorrow will be herring from cat.
Speaking of which, what are you drinking today that exploded on you?
Oh man, yeah. So the first explosion was this from Estonia. It's I still can't judge it because unfortunately each time I've had it, it's exploded. So I can't really say how good it is. Then the next one, which actually is tasting all right, is just a bit of a lively bottle whilst I drip it, is this Force Majeure. So these guys are based in Belgium, and their flagship or their starting beer was a Belgian blonde, which they released really quite a while ago actually, probably about 18 months ago, and they then followed it up with a triple, and now 3 more, including a triple hop as well, and they're really nice. So this is really, really deep, like that's deep red, sort of deep dark cherry flavor, and yes, it's really good.
What number beer is that for you to review? 4,856.
No, I don't know what number this was. I've had this one before, but I'm Untapped. I think I'm in 470 something. But that's just so on Untapped. That's I'm using that at the moment as the place to just log.
Yeah.
So I only ever check in a beer once on Untapped.
Yeah.
There might be a couple of duplicates on there. It's not the perfect platform, like we know. But yeah, I find it serves a purpose, so I can keep a track of my ratings on things and stuff. So.
And is your Untapped, is that just NAs, or do you have, like, before you stopped drinking, are there also other?
I had a couple of different accounts throughout history.
Guilt Points.
Yeah, Guilty Pints.
And Tyler just spat his beer everywhere.
Just mucky pints, yeah. Yeah, I did. But this account, the Guilt Free Pints account, is just NA or alcohol free. Yeah. So that I wanted to start afresh, right? And when I started up the Untapped account again, I had like 100 check-ins in like 2 days because I was just going through my backlog because I knew I wanted to use it.
Yeah.
Like that, to be a tracker or a logger. But yeah, I'm hopeful that there'll be some other tools coming, or even out now with the Better Without app, for example. That is going to prove to be much more useful for people looking at genuine comparisons, genuine information, genuine reviews from more than just one person.
Yeah.
Or a group of specialist people. But you need lots of people to use it, and a lot of people to find the products as well. So
yeah. Definitely.
What? It's a big question, but what would you say your favorite beer has been?
My favorite.
Well, no, it's hard. Basically, if you're being sent away to a desert island and you could only bring one beer with you, what would it be?
Only one. Okay.
Now, there's okay, we'll give it three. Okay, we'll give it three. Jesus.
If it was only one, I'd probably take the Thunderstrike Playground. There's a few reasons for why. Number one, I'm a fiercely loyal person, and Thunderstrike was or Thunderstrike, which how pronouncing it properly, I think, was one of the first, or if not the first beer that I was like, no, this isn't non-alcoholic. This has got booze in. It was the first one that I was really checking the label, looking up online. I was really questioning it. And also, it's all over the place now. It's an incredibly good beer, and very, very consistent. And they ship to like Australia and Hong Kong and all over the place now. And they're just 40 kilometers from Amsterdam, in a place called Utrecht. And when things open up again, then I'll be making a trip down there to their tap room. And hopefully, by that time, they'll have it on tap as well, which is the next big step over here. So I think to answer your question, it's got to be that. There could be so many others in, but it's got to be the Thunderstrike Playground.
Is there any other word you mentioned?
So, athletic, definitely. The Run Wild. It's very similar though. That's the thing. The Free Wave or the Run Wild. Those three are quite similar, and I can't wait for you. Ian, you've had the Thunderstrike, have you? Or?
I haven't actually. No, it's definitely something I want to try. Yeah. 100%.
Okay. Well, we got to try and see if we can do a swap. You guys have got to try the playground.
There's another one as well. There's two of them, isn't there? Two Thunderstrike.
Yeah, they came out with a Funhouse, which is a collaboration with Guilo. I've probably pronounced that wrong as well. They're based in Hong Kong, and it's a NEPA, so New England IPA style, and they brought it out as just a one-off big batch, and then they immediately added it to their core range, Thunderstrike did, because it sold really well, and it's just really, really tasty, but a lot lighter, hoppier, a little bit sweeter. Less of a malty kick as well. It's really, really nice. And the original label, you're too young for this, and you guys are in the wrong country, but it's based on a children's TV show for my generation called Funhouse. And if you look it up, it's pointless going into because you guys will just have no idea what I'm talking about.
There was one beer that I don't know if it was Aslan Brewing, but there was one that did a beer on based on Rick and Morty. Have you guys seen that show?
Yeah.
There was one. It was alcoholic, but they did a Peace Between Worlds. So it was just a whole like silhouette around it, and you can see Rick flipping everyone off because that's what he said in his like micro universe. It's like flip him the finger, and it means peace between worlds. And so they came out with a hazy IPA called that, and it was awesome. It was a good beer, but the labeling on it was just really cool.
One of my favorite labeling stories from over here. Again, it's an alcoholic brewery. I think they're called Yellow Belly here in Wexford, Ireland, and they always have really intrepid designed cans. They're always amazing, and they always advertise. The guy that does them, his name is Paul. I think it's Paul. And one day they released a can. It was just a silver can, and it was called Paul's on Holidays, and there was no design on the can. They just literally said on it, Paul's on Holiday was the name of the beer.
That's awesome.
Nothing else written on it.
No, that was it. It was. I think I'll have to look it up. I'm always sure it was like Paul's on Holiday or John's on Holiday.
That's like that meme that goes around Instagram all the time, where it's some big company has up on their like Times Square billboard. It's like Microsoft Paint, and it's someone who like wrote out with a mouse, "We're looking to hire a graphic designer."
Yeah, so it's literally Paul's on Holiday. It's a Maybach, and that was the can.
Nothing else on it. Nothing on the back. Brilliant. Has it got an ABV on it?
Yeah.
No, Yellow Belly Maybach, Paul's on Holiday, and that's literally it.
We could sell it as non-alcoholic then, I guess, if it's not got an ABV on it.
when you look though, this is some of the other stuff they do is like it's always really like comic book art almost.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So it's a
I knew the name. The yellow, the one with it looks like a ghost, right?
yeah,
One of their
pretty
bottles.
much it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, they're really.
Is the question for you then? How big a deal is that for you guys for labeling, in particular with the beers, right? Less so on the focusing in on the beers. Obviously, this conversation is always going to be. But how important is the labeling for you guys, and how much do you buy with your eyes?
It's kind of a case, isn't it? I think you can almost tell to a certain extent, like within reason. But like when I was in Spain, for example, I found that a lot of the generic lagers were the same, the alcohol-free ones, but the cans were always the same as well. It was always just a blue alternative of the actual can. But yeah, I think you can. I don't know. I'm trying to think have I got any that have great cans and bad taste or vice versa. But I'm sure I have.
There'll be a lot of times where I'll walk into a liquor store where I won't know what I'm feeling that night. Like I know I want a beer, like I want to drink a beer, whether it's alcoholic or non-alcoholic. And I'll walk in not knowing like, oh, I'm gonna go buy a 6-pack of Athletic or buy Natty Boh or something because I want to just crush some god awful crappy beers. I mean, great beers. It's Baltimore's best beer. My little disclaimer there. But so I will every now and then go in and just look around, and I will eyeball shop of, oh, this can art looks really cool. And there's a liquor store about 10 minutes away from me that you can do like build your own 6-packs. And when I go in and do one of those, if I'm like, I might be feeling a lager, I might want an IPA, I'll go in and do those. And a lot of the times, because you can only buy one of each because you're building your own 6-pack, I will absolutely shop by label and like, this looks really cool. Or I've never heard of this brewery. Let's try it.
Let's give it a go.
Yeah.
I usually shop by company, and then I go from there. But if I've never tried it before, I mean, I would say I just go to like the beers that I like the most, and then just branch out from there. But I just try to stick away from labeling because I know what companies are trying to do. Because I am in marketing, so I know what like pops at the eye, what they go for. So I kind of just cut that off, which is kind of weird. But I really go by company for sure.
Okay. Would you ever not buy a beer because of bad labeling?
Oh jeez, no. If for alcohol free, I think you're not.
You're in the best. We're still kind of beggars can't be
Yeah,
choosers.
exactly. Beggars can't be choosers, you know. Definitely.
I don't know if there's for me at least, like there hasn't been a beer label where I've seen it and said I'm not gonna buy it because of the label.
No, yeah, definitely.
There have always been other ones where that one looks cooler, so I'm gonna buy it.
Yeah, that's more.
But I've never not bought a beer or bottle of wine because the label looks like crap.
Yeah.
Sorry, Tyler, go on.
Yeah, I was gonna say same here, but I do hate with some of the non-alcoholic beers that they're not very clear on like ABVs and stuff like that, like if it's alcohol free or not. Like that's some of the disliking I have for labeling. It's definitely the clarity, because some of the even Big Drop coming in the U.S., like some of their stuff doesn't match up, at least with my knowledge of what it has to have on the label. So it's just not very clear.
What is the what's on the Big Drop labels in the US? What are
I think
they?
it says like 0.5% ABV, and we're just supposed to say like less than 0.5%. Because 0.5% isn't non-alcoholic. It has to be less than.
Yeah.
So it's like stuff like that, and people. I mean, I just don't think people understand non-alcoholic versus alcohol-free also. But that's not the company's goals of trying to make that clear also.
No, but they call it, the reason I ask is they call it alcohol free in the UK. They can, but in the US, obviously alcohol free is what I think is 0.05 or below, or just absolutely not. Yeah, okay. So I guess they call it non-alcoholic, do they? And 0.5 in the US?
Absolutely. And the funny thing is, Big Drop sent me their alcohol free stuff, which is funky. So like my stuff says alcohol free that I have.
Okay.
Yeah, but their stuff does say non-alcoholic here.
Yeah, right. Okay.
I also personally don't like to use labels on anything, so I'm not a fan of labeling.
What
Sorry, I just had to throw in that liberal arts education of mine.
Some things are important for nutritional and for legal purposes, right? So
I just had to pepper in that little bit of social justice, and now I'm blacklisted from ever setting foot on my college campus again.
What's been, would you say, the best label you've seen lately, or in general, on an alcohol-free beer? I loved, remember 2 All Implosion, the original, the first one they had was phenomenal. I don't know why they changed it, I thought.
I loved their first one. What I would have loved is they changed that label to the newer design, but they went matte. They went with the matte finish on it. If they had done the original design with the matte finish, that would have just been the perfect can design.
Yeah, Beavertown was great as well. There's a Citrus Crush.
Laser Crush. Yeah.
Laser Crush, sorry, yeah.
Yeah, it's nice. It's in keeping with their it's in keeping with their
Beavertown
labels and branding and funky artwork, which I really love. Lervig, no worries. Is from Norway. They'll always be right up there for me with their can design. And
I think that's one of the ones, Ian, you sent me.
When I sent you Bears from Ireland, was it?
Yeah.
I sent you to, I think, Wicklow Wolf and Kinnigar. Was it Wicklow Wolf and Kinnigar?
I thought you also sent me Lervig. Or I'm just hallucinating that because that's one of the top 7 ones you put that we have on the website, so that's why it's buzzing in my brain.
Yeah, it's definitely, I mean, the designs are just, it's really, I love them.
It's definitely one of the best, and the I was lucky enough to talk to CEO Magnus from Lervig as part of the AF Cup that I did with Adam from Sober Source in the UK back in November. We did this AF Cup tournament. Basically, we had 16 breweries, 16 beers, and we drew them all out of a hat and pitted them against each other, all the while kind of hoping that we didn't have like really big names knocked out in the first round. But Brewdog went out straight away. They were knocked out by Mikella. But it all came down to over sort of 2 weeks of like really intense Instagram live sessions. We came down to Lervig No Worries against the Van der Streek. Van der Streek won in the end, but as part of it, on one of the calls, we heard the story of the Lervig cans. And if you see the artwork, it's very cool. They've got a consistent sort of character, and I can't remember his name, but they've got a few characters. And that's the design, right? Mm-hmm. And this, there you go, in real life. And the bottom is him, basically he's poking his head or looking into another dimension, where in Scandinavia, and the story behind that is, in Scandinavia, they have to really clearly differentiate, even if it's one brewery, I need to try and get this right, they have to really clearly differentiate their non-alcoholic products from their alcoholics with a different brand within the brand. So all of Lervig's non-alcoholic beers are all called No Worries, and that's kind of like a sub-brand of Lervig. So that's why you've got your No Worries driving home for Christmas. You've got your grapefruit, your I think they've just come out with a lemon and a mango one as well. They haven't made it over yet, but the pineapple one's delicious. But just to hear that nice story and the thought behind the labeling matching kind of what they need to go through as a business, matching the artwork, matching the premise, matching the philosophy, and they were so like passionate about that as well, and making sure that it was such a consistent, not just to stick with the rules, but have fun with it as well, and have a bit of flexibility within it, and create a bit of a legacy. Like, I mean, that beer's legendary now. I found it in Sydney. I was in Sydney last January 2020, and I found it in a craft beer shop. I was like, what? No worries in Sydney.
Yeah, I think it's a very well kind of respected beer across by anyone, any alcohol-free drinker I'd say would put that in their top 10 or top 5.
It's just so good.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, if what's in the can doesn't match the artwork, then you'll have it once, and that's it.
Yep.
Or maybe twice. But if it explodes on you, but yeah.
So how long have you been doing NAs and in the scene?
Since my operation. So I had mentioned this before. I had a heart operation back in September 2018, a year after I moved to Amsterdam. And I've always known that I needed one. I had one when I was like 10 weeks old as well. So I knew that I was going to have another operation at some point. And it just so happens I have sort of yearly checkups, and just got in with my new hospital, just met my new consultant here in Amsterdam, got all my notes transferred over from the National Health Service in the UK. And before I knew it, like the next operation was scheduled. You're kind of thinking, wow, what's just happened here? So a year after I moved, I went under the knife basically. So I've got a little polymer and metal valve now, which has gone in and replaced one of my major valves, and had some work done on my aorta as well. I won't bore you with that. But as a result, I need to be on blood thinners. So alcohol, blood thinners don't mix well.
Yeah.
So that was sort of the beginning of the end, or my last drink, my last binge, let's say, was on 1st of September 2018. And then I started on the alcohol freeze shortly after the operation. So probably October-ish. Might have had a couple beforehand, just to be like, is this any good? How am I gonna do this? I was so nervous. I was not necessarily about the op. I was at that point, but I was really nervous about how cutting out drinking would change everything. Right? It would change so much socially. I was a heavy drinker before, living in London as well. It's so easy to just go out straight from work, and you've got 10 bars in the 200 meters between work and the station. To get home through. So it was just so easy to go out drinking there, and all my mates were back there as well and stuff. So it was a very, very big change. And then going back to the Untapped piece, I was looking on there trying to find, all right, if I'm going to enter into this world, what is there for me? Where can I find what's good? What alcohol-free beers are even out there, right? Is it just Heineken? There's got to be more, So I'm searching on there, and you come across just low ratings, uninspiring stuff, terrible reviews. And in amongst the reviews, loads of people saying that they bought it by accident, and they rated it 1 star because they bought it by accident. And you think to yourself, so the beer and the brewery should suffer for you because you haven't read the label correctly, and brings everything down, right? So that was when I decided to start the Instagram account and kind of really start entering and exploring the NA or AF scene. It's a good place to do it though, Chris, in Amsterdam. Like in the Netherlands, there's quite a lot of options here. So yeah, it's and then shortly after that, I found Athletic, and was lucky enough for them to send me a few beers, and I was like, whoa, if this is what's possible, then
there's something to this.
Yeah, exactly, right? Exactly. And that was an exciting moment to see that that it wasn't just here, and it wasn't just in the UK, and it wasn't just going to be Brewdog, but actually there was going to be some big hitters soon. And Athletic is such a professional outfit.
Yeah.
And they seemed to be from the outset, right? You read their story, learn a bit about it, and then you think, wow, okay, these guys are not going to be the only ones. But yeah, it was a good time to get into it, I think, a couple of years ago, because it's just flown.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's gone huge.
Would you say you were the first Instagram page to, like, when you began, or?
No, I don't think so. No, there are a few others, but there's so many now, which is great.
Absolutely.
It's so good. There are so many people who are interested in it and want to share it, and that's what it's all about, isn't it? It's about trying to tell other people about it.
I'm always curious who the first kind of Instagram account that's still active now was,
Oh gosh, I don't know. There are a few. There are a few in sort of Eastern Europe as well. There's a few alcohol-free accounts that were there at the beginning. Yeah, the first one probably just had Beck's Blue and St. Pauli Girl on, and that was it. Just alternate those two, or Heineken.
Yeah, maybe Caliber.
Oh, Caliber, yeah, yeah, okay. But yeah, it's just exploded, hasn't it? And I genuinely don't think that I would be. I've been completely. So the last alcoholic drink I had was in Sydney, so it was last January. The last time I was drunk was before the operation, but I haven't had a alcoholic drink since last January now, and I think I had 2 beers, felt like crap the next day. And I was just like, you know what, screw this. I don't need it. Look at all these brilliant beers. Yeah. If I will hands down 100% say right now, if there was not the variety and the quality of alcohol-free beers or non-alcoholic beers right now that there is, I would be drinking alcohol still. Probably to the detriment of my health. I would obviously, I would find what I'm doing right now, health-wise, so much harder to do because the temptation would be there after a couple of drinks. You want a few more, right? So, yeah, for me, the abstinence works so much better, and I genuinely believe I owe it to the quality and range of alcohol-free, non-alcoholic beers. Genuinely.
That's awesome.
Can I ask about your cycle that you done? I don't know if the lads asked you, I was a bit late.
Say again?
Can I ask about the cycle, the charity cycle you done?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I did that a year after the op. So that was last September. Cycled from the hospital I had the operation here in Amsterdam back to the hospital where I had my first operation when I was 10 weeks old in North London. So what was it? 460 kilometers over 4 days. And I teamed up with Tom from Wise Bartender, actually. Got some Wise Bartender stickers all over my bike, and got a few beers on the journey with me as well. And we put on a little event with all my friends and some folk from the charity and stuff like that, and got a load of beers to just kind of share and spread around and kind of talk about. But I didn't do much talking by the time I got back. I was absolutely spanked. But no, it was really good. It was a bit of a challenge for myself, really. I wanted to use it as the drawing the end, or kind of bringing my recovery period to a close. Kind of saying, right, it's a year after the op now. If I can do this, then I'm good, right? If I can cycle this far with not much sleep, put my body under this, like, kind of not super strenuous. It's not like running marathons day after day. It's a different type of exercise, right? But cardio is strong in cycling, right? So, yeah, that's kind of why I did it. I really enjoyed it, and it was a big, big challenge. And yeah, that was my motivation. I said a few weeks after the op, or no, a little bit longer, once I'd started physio, I made a commitment to one of the physiotherapists to say, I'm going to cycle back to London. That's what my goal is going to be. So we kind of worked towards it, making sure my heart rate's okay each time, just bringing up that cycling, whilst the rest of the group were doing sort of other things and circuit training and throwing balls about. I was just focusing on cycling and a few other sort of leg exercises and stuff. So it was really, really important, actually. Looking back, I didn't think that it was so important at the time, but now looking back on it, it was such a big goal to focus on for me. And also it brought back a big passion of cycling. So now I'm on the bike quite a lot, and it's so much fun. You can explore so much more on a bike. So yeah.
During that ride, did you have doubt that something was going to go wrong?
Yeah, always. What especially in the evenings when you're super, like, you just feel maxed out, right? The worst I felt was between France and the UK just before I got on the ferry. So the ferry's only, what was it, 2 hours just across the channel, basically. And yeah, I felt I was knackered. I'd been up since 3. I woke up at 3 and I got on the road at 4 a.m. Nearly got knocked off my bike by a couple of owls, which was ridiculous. You're cycling in pitch black, freaking
Wait a
owl
second.
comes down. like, woo! Like, what the fuck? Like, genuinely, like, shaking on my bike, nearly went over. I did not think before the cycle that there was any potential of getting knocked off my bike by an owl, but who knew?
Of the list of concerns to prepare against, being knocked off your bike by an owl.
Genuine hazard. I was racing after that. God, I would love to see the scale of speed. I reckon I like doubled speed after that because I was just adrenaline was racing. But yeah, no, I definitely did, and actually I felt at my weakest at that point before the ferry, and I was like, I'm not sure how. I knew that the hardest part of the journey, because of fatigue and because the terrain was significantly different, was going to be from Dover in the UK just up to Kent hills. There aren't many hills here in Netherlands, not many in Belgium either. It's pretty much kind of plain sailing, as it were, when it comes to contours. But then as soon as you hit the UK, you've got to go sort of straight up. And yeah, that was tough. When I got into Kent, I met a colleague and friend, Gary, who just happened to be at his family home. And he came out with a Brooklyn hoppy lager, and it was warm, but it was the best thing I could possibly have had. It couldn't have been better.
Nice.
And that really gave me like energy and belief again, and a bit more like, not just physical energy, but like enthusiasm to just get the rest of it done.
Yeah. Like a boss, you've done it.
Very good. Yeah, I'd like to do something again. I'd love to do something again like that. I will plan something, but it's got to be for athletic, I think, next time around.
So you should let me know. I'll go on over. Give me a reason to travel.
I'd love to do across Europe. I'd love to. Yeah,
I would
get involved.
I would do that.
We could do like a whole relay race of like swimming, biking, and running, like a whole triathlon across Europe. Well, it'd be a relay race. Like you guys could take the biking, I'll head the running part, then someone else can do swimming. Like,
how are you in the water, Ian?
I hate swimming. Oh my god, I hate it so much.
Yeah, fuck
I can't swim. I don't enjoy it at all. What about you?
I'm not going to swim the English Channel, so no. I could do a few lengths up and down a pool.
Yeah.
What's the English Channel? Like 7 miles?
I don't know. I've never been curious enough to look because I've never thought, when I look into swimming this, I'll need to know how long it is.
I think isn't it 22 miles from Dover to Calais, something like that. So
yeah, probably, and that's the thinnest part, right? So
yeah,
you're not going to find me doing it. I don't know. Well allocated to someone, John maybe. John,
yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
John's used to the sea.
On the seafarer.
Yeah.
Full circle.
There we go. And scene.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Love it.
This has been what?
It's been a pleasure, hasn't it?
Yeah, this has been one hell of a happy hour. This is awesome. Started talking mental health, getting to technology, time traveling, getting to beers, getting to life stories. Oh.
I got a dose of nostalgia when I learned what were you guys telling me? Tape deck?
The floppy tape deck or floppy disk. Matt, did you hear, or was it last week, the guy who invented the cassette tape died?
Oh no, really?
And so everyone, I'm in a sick and twisted texting conversation called the Deadpool.
Okay.
And so it went back and forth, and one of them said, put up a picture of a cassette tape and a pencil, and said, "How many of you are old enough to remember the relationship between these two things?"
Always better if it had a rubber on the end, because you could get the
the eraser would bite the teeth a little bit. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
I always wondered about putting it in a power drill and spinning it that way.
Yeah, you had a more imaginative mind than I did then, Mac. or more destructive. I don't know. Because what
Pull
did
a
you
bird.
really hope to achieve?
Imaginative or ADD?
Did you really truly did you want it to work, or did you want it to not work and see what would happen?
I just wanted to see if it would rewind the tape. I didn't think that far ahead if it was going to work after. I just wanted to see if you could rewind it or spin it up really fast. My project planning skills were not as advanced then as they are now.
Were you trying to see if you could remix a song?
Well, because what would happen is the tape would get all, like the actual film tape would like get spat out. And so you would put the pencil in and you would manually rewind it so it would recoil the tape. So I was wondering, like, could you do it faster if you put the other end of the pencil in a power drill? Because it has that hex bit on it.
Yeah.
And so if you spin that with the power drill, would it rewind faster and work?
There's a way you can find out, right?
Get a power drill, a cassette tape. I need to find a cassette tape.
Flying around.
It's like $100 on eBay now.
Yeah. The relic.
Yeah.
What's the plans for the rest of the day, Matt?
I know that England are playing. We're playing cricket. It's the final 2020 against India right now, but it's not going so well. So I'll check in on that, and if it's worth watching, then I'll watch. But
there's the Six Nations as well, isn't there? England.
Yeah, exactly. It's a sport. It's a sports weekend. There's a bit of footy going on, but there's only a few Premier League games. Bit of FA Cup. Yeah, Margot's actually away. Margot's gone away with a couple of friends. And for one night, they're in a tiny house, and so this is like the first night or the first time I've been in the flat without her overnight for just over a year because of the pandemic. Where we just haven't stayed over anywhere. It's going to be bizarre. I'm going to be scared, I think. What was that noise?
Shit, another beer blew up.
It's funny you say that, actually.
Oh, boy.
No, I got a message from Raul, who does the... We're not still recording, are we?
We are still recording.
Okay, fine. Screw it. He received a message from a brewery, I don't need to name them, saying, oh, yeah, you might want to open these particular beers because quite a lot of them have exploded, and not exploded like when you open it fizzes over. Exploded. Which wasn't someone saying that the other day on the call, or someone told me a story about this, and
that sounds familiar.
Yeah. And if they were closer to the bottle when it happened, then they would have just been taken out, basically. But yeah, so I went and promptly opened it, and it didn't explode on me, so that was good. Does happen a lot.
That's funny.
The fermentation, right?
Yeah.
That's fermenting, gets carbonation.
Yeah. And I was talking to Sam, who's I think he's one of the founders at Bristol Beer Factory. They produced non-alcoholic called Clear Head.
Oh yeah, the mental health IPA.
Yeah, exactly.
It's phenomenal.
Oh, it's really, really tasty. It's probably my most surprising triumph, because I did sod all research on it beforehand, so I just didn't know what to expect. I was surprised because of my own ignorance, not because of I thought it was going to be rubbish. And I opened it. It was really, really good. And Johnny hooked me up with Sam, and we were having a chat about it and what can go wrong. And to your point with the fermentation continuing, another big challenge is obviously these haven't got alcohol in, right? So they've got a much smaller shelf life. And you can buy what's called a sterile filter that is good for brewing anyway, but super useful for alcohol-free. And it certainly adds a few months, if not more, to any batch, because it's going to help stop any outside influences getting in any additional bacteria that you don't want in there, and
Nice.
keep it all super clean and healthy. So to hopefully reduce the number of bad batches or bad canning or bad bottling that you can get, because even Brewdog suffer, right? They had a batch. Mm-hmm. My mate bought a whole load of cans, and all 12 just fizzed out, and you got about a third of the can from each one. So
It's impressively bad.
it
Okay.
is.
The process.
Yeah.
For sure. I guess what were you gonna say?
No, I was going to ask, how's the Nope stuff? Because I'm seeing it all over the US Insta scene at the moment. Are they any good?
So I mean, talking to me about it's just not for me. I mean, I'm not a cocktail guy. I'm not a sugar dude. So it's like these things have like, I don't mind sugar. Like just like with alcohol, honestly, it's the same thing with sugar. But it has like 20 fucking grams of sugar in
Really?
those things. All added sugar, and it's just like a funky. It's like a funky cocktail. It's not.
You're not selling this to us, I won't lie.
Nah, it's just not prime time. They have a ginger beer too. It's like a.
Nope, just hacked the system and cut Tyler off.
Yeah, right. No.
You have-
No. I think Nope
Has like a
have done his
scuzzy
house.
taste to it.
They IP trace routed him and blocked his public IP address.
We lost you there.
Yeah.
Nope have like stopped your internet or something.
Hacked in through Steve's
just
Raspberry Pi.
That's going to be my my biggest takeaway from this. Tyler, not a sugar dude.
He's not a sugar baby.
You're
Not a
sweet enough.
sugar
You're
dude.
sweet enough. You're sweet enough.
Thanks.
On that borderline HR violation.
Yeah, guys, do you mind? Matt, thanks for joining us. I'm just going to have to run off back to a few bits to do.
Yeah, nice one. It's been a pleasure, gents. Thanks for having me on. Hope it was good. Well, it was really good fun for me. Hope it was.
It was great. Yeah.
No, yeah, I think we've been talking about it for some time, so it's great to finally get it done. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll listen to it back, Chris, and be like, "What were we talking about?" None of this is-
I've been taking notes at about what time the recordings are for snippets, so I got some good golden ones here.
Oh, good.
Got some good nuggets.
Cheers, guys. Have a good day, all right?
Right,
See
I'll
ya.
speak to you tomorrow. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Cheers, guys.
Cheers.